Hey everyone, Jason here from Off the Beaten Path, and we're talking headlights and we're talking the 76. First of all, you might notice the hat I'm wearing. Shout out to Auxbeam for coming on board as a sponsor for the build on the 76. Really appreciate that. They reached out to me asking about whether I needed some lighting. They'd seen the channel and some of the work we did on the 76, and it was very timely. We were looking at a few lighting options. So what we're here talking today about lighting wise is LED headlight globes to replace the standard ones. So that was something that was very much on my radar from the minute I took delivery of the 76, and even more particularly after I did a shakedown trip in the Vic Deserts back in June, I think that was. The 100 candle power, I don't know what they are, the very dim headlights that come with these things as standard were almost unsafe. So I decided on that trip that I would definitely be replacing them with LED headlights, LED globes as an upgrade, and that's what these are, H4 LED globes. So let me just set those back down for a minute. Now I know we've all heard that putting LED globes into a headlight that didn't have LED to start with is illegal as per the ADRs, all that sort of thing. Yes, that's true. It's not so much that they're illegal, it's just there's no specification for it in the ADR. I've elected to do this because I actually think it's the right thing to do, because I think it makes the vehicle safer, more visible, and I can see better when driving the vehicle at night. So that's why I've chosen to do it, and I have deliberately not gone for the brightest LED headlights, but they are a significant improvement over and above the factory ones. Now I've got some footage that I've taken that I will be able to show you guys. I'll grab some stills out of that footage and try and demonstrate it as best I can. You're probably going to really though have to take my word for it, because I actually shot the nighttime footage twice with the factory headlights. The first time I used the GoPro, and I found that the GoPros are terrible at shooting night footage. They're not great in low light, and when I went from low beam to high beam, it actually looked like there was less light. So I had to then film that all again. Fortunately, that was before I put the LEDs in. That's what you're looking at now, the LEDs. So let me just say, it is literally night and day between the two. This is such a worthwhile upgrade for around $100. So in terms of what I went for, these are the Auxbeam H4 LED headlight globes. These are a copper base. Now if I can show you here without making a mess, so they do have an adapter and wiring harness sort of all attached on the bottom of them, as you can see there. And the globe assembly is copper, and that is largely for heat dissipation, and then that just plugs straight into your factory harness. There's an adapter there. So with LED headlight globes, heat dissipation is a huge thing. Auxbeam, like other manufacturers, do have globes that have active heat dissipation on the back, so fans. I deliberately did not go for those because I didn't want a part that could fail. LEDs on their own last a really long time, so I didn't want to add to that something that could fail. So these are the ones that I went for. Now I can see those of you watching this video, you're probably already thinking, well hang on, he's just said he's got the LED headlights in and he's just showing us another pair. What's to go with them? What are these ones for? What these ones are for one of you. So this is a spare set of H4 LED headlight globes, and somebody watching this video will win these. To enter and win these, all you need to do is comment down below on this video, tell me what vehicle you have that you're going to put these in and why you want them. How are they going to make a difference to you? And we will choose somebody at the end of the first week that this video is up and live. So I don't have an install video for these. I will link one down in the description below. Basically you just access the back of the headlight, lift the rubber covering off and unplug them. There's a little catch that you release and that allows you to lift them out. I didn't show that because I didn't do it. Carl was in at the auto elect for some work and I got him to do it while he was there, largely because on the left hand side, or as you're looking at it, the driver's side of the vehicle, there's not a lot of room between the airbox and the headlight, and my hands didn't fit, so I would have had to take the airbox out to do that. And on the right hand side or passenger side, there's also not a lot of room with the battery and a few other things there. I would have had to pull at least the battery out, so I left it for the auto elect to do, but it's certainly something you can do yourself. Now, one more cool feature with these, which is why I waited till this time of day to show you these, is these are kind of like inbuilt headlights. So that's their standard white setting. If I turn these off and back on, they'll go to their orange setting. Let me show you. So as you can see there, that's full orange. That's just a feature of these headlights. A lot of the Auxbeam lights have this feature. So great for driving through foggy conditions. They have a third setting which is half and half. Probably not coming out super clear on the video there, but that's half amber, half white. So the first product from Auxbeam that I've put in is some LED headlight globes for the 76 series. Now, just in case you're not familiar with Auxbeam, they are a US based company. They manufacture and ship out of China, but being US based, they have relatively recently, last year or two, started shipping product into Australia, and there's some reviews of various of their products from other YouTubers here in Oz as well. What you do need to do though when you go to their website is click on the little settings icon up here and change from US dollars to AUD, just to make sure that you're getting the right pricing for Australia here. The other thing to note is you are paying overseas, so you do get an international currency transaction fee. It's a couple of bucks, but will be added onto your amount. You can search for products on their site by vehicle. Currently it's very US centric in terms of the vehicles you can search for. You look under Toyota, for example, there we've got Tacomas, Tundras, 4Runners. We don't really have those here in Australia. That will be changing over time. In particular today we're looking at the H4 LED globes. The ones I went for are these copper based ones here. In addition to the LED light globes for replacement OEM light globes, they also do light bars, driving lights, work lights, all that sort of thing, as well as some pretty groovy switch panels. So it might be worth your while having a look at those while you're here. Hey guys, so the best thing I can recommend, this is low beam factory globes, is look at how many white posts we can see. Basically one at a time, sometimes two, depending on the reflectors. And look, those ones there are just a little closer, but generally speaking it's 1 to 2 posts that we're seeing. We've got very little visibility off to the side, a little bit of ambient light there from the train line beside the freeway here. Moving to the Auxbeam, we've got a lot brighter spread of light. We can see a lot further in front of us. This is still low beam. Apologies for the shaky footage. I had to use my handheld camera, as I mentioned, rather than the GoPro. But essentially, whiter, brighter light, more of it, and it's going further. In the vehicle driving, I don't think this camera is actually doing justice to how big a difference this was. It was really quite a huge difference. So, factory high beam, actually less bright in the foreground because the factory low beam tended to have a bright spot right in front of the car. You just couldn't see much of anything past it. So the factory high beam, reasonable distance, very little spread. You can't even really tell what's on the side of the road. So particularly not great for touring or off-road at night. Back to low. And this is the Auxbeam high beam. And as you can see, again, slightly different camera angle makes it hard to tell, but the spread is so much better and it's penetrating a lot further and it's a wider, bright light. So again, literally night and day. I can't compare these to any other LED headlights. I've never used them, but just awesome. And this is low beam on the amber setting here. I just thought I'd throw that into the mix for you to see what that looks like, given that I'd shown you that was an option. It's actually a nice, soft, even light to actually drive by. And just to show that comparison, you can see the low beam on the left, high beam on the right, factory at the bottom, Auxbeam globes at the top. So you can see how the factory low beam's got this hot spot right in front of the car, but then you can't see much else around it. The low beam from the LEDs has a much better spread. And likewise with the factory, there's no hot spot. You've got diffuse light. You can see further than low beam, but it's not particularly well lit up. And the Auxbeam high beam is a marked improvement. So look, I've only had these in a short time so far. I will do a longer term review on how they go and how they last. What I can tell you is driving with these at night is literally night and day. It is, you know, I did not pay for these. These were given to me as a sponsored item, but had I paid for these, the $100 or so that they're worth, I'd be really happy with that. So hope this video is useful for you guys. Like this video if you liked it, and if you want to enter the competition, comment down below. Win yourself some H4 globes for your rig, courtesy of Auxbeam. Thanks.